Oh, Simon, I wish you were really here. You're my only true friend.
How you doing, pal?
Hello, mate.
How are you, man? You alright?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Good.
Hello, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture,
Sleeping on the job.
joined by our very own pro wrestler, Simon Miller from WhatCulture. First of all, Simon, we want to talk more and more about your wrestling journey, but how are you?
I'm alright, it's been a crazy, few months now. End of April was the debut, so we're in 3 months in or something. Yeah, it was nuts. But it's been good, I've said this to a lot of people, and I mean it. Definitely one of the best things I've ever done, very rewarding. There's been some ups and downs, but so far just brilliant. Yeah, I think so anyway. I'm pleased. Still a lot to learn. Still, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but yeah, so far I'd say so good.
Now, last time we spoke, you just done your first match. Obviously, you had a few more in hand, and you've got bookings all up and down the country. That must be amazing.
It's crazy. I mean, it's nuts. That was always the plan, of course. But when you actually, you have goals and rewards, all that nonsense. But you don't necessarily think it's going to come to fruition. You hope it does, but you just have to take it day by day. But yeah, at the moment throughout August, I'm all over the place, ready to annoy everybody, much as I do on YouTube. No, but it's great. It genuinely is great, and I appreciate it all. And right now, I said to everybody, genuinely, I just want to work as much as I can, get my experience levels up, and hopefully keep developing, keep progressing, keep evolving. Be a pro wrestler.
It's really nice getting all these updates though, because we've seen you, like we said, start from the very, very beginning to now, and like you say, now it's not just you're working with us and Defiant. You're now, like you say, getting asked to do stuff by a variety of different wrestling companies.
And as we record this, it's literally been around about 2 years, like almost to the dot, like it was July 2016. So that's pretty crazy way to think about it. But yeah, to see it sort of slowly grow like this, which is what everybody said that it should do, at least what you should try to do, and know that it is going, that it gives you a bit more confidence, gives you a bit more hope that maybe you can make something of this. Never know, take it day by day, step by step, all of that, but yeah, fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I've got lots of fan questions for you here that have been submitted. Let's start with Hasham's. He says, who was your inspiration? Because everyone seems to look up to someone in the industry. Who was yours, either starting out or now you're sort of doing day in, day out wrestling stuff?
Well, back in the day, the first wrestler that I ever saw that got me into wrestling was Bret Hart. That's why I've got an affinity for him. That's why I always go back to it, because I'm flicking through TV channels, I saw Bret Hitman Hart, and can't tell you why. I didn't mean that, but anyway, I really didn't mean that. But it's one of those things you can't explain. I just was drawn to him, and he was my guy, as you do as a kid. Then obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin took over that place when I was a little bit older, a little bit angstier, a bit more of an asshole. And so they were the two guys that really kind of cemented my love for pro wrestling. And I wouldn't necessarily, Bret was obviously an incredible technical wrestler. I'm certainly not that, and Austin was an amazing brawler, and I'm certainly not that. But in terms of, two guys that I look up to and would try to emulate, I think that's a fair, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's nice to have those kind of things in your head. Today, and we're talking about the UK scene, I always say this, I don't like naming anybody, because I could say anyone, and literally I think that'd be a fair answer, but I still, I've said this for ages, you can go back and watch some of the old Wrestling Journey videos. Rampage to me has always been a guy that kind of, I don't know, there's just something about Rampage, and so many people say so many good things about him, I include myself in that, he's just a guy, and I think he kind of sits on top of the UK scene with a lot of other dudes, but yeah.
I've worked with him, obviously, in my time with Defiant, and you hear all these stories usually about WWE, about leaders of the locker room, and I think, Rampage is one of those guys who just goes out and leads by example. Like, you look at him in the ring and backstage and doing whatever he needs to do, and he's almost the standard, isn't he? That's
kind of how I see it. That's not, I mean that disparagingly to anybody else. Like, literally everybody so far that I've met has helped me out way more than they had to, and I can't say thank you enough. But, in terms of the question and being very specific, he would be the first name that popped into my head.
Pete asked, what kept you going through the hard times and any injuries? Because obviously we saw what happened to you in one of your first matches. We saw when you were talking about your wrestling journey, about you trying to do flip bumps and stuff like that. What was the one thing that really kept you going through that?
So I literally have a scar there and a scar there. It's all around this area of my head. So it's pretty good that I went bald at a young age, because otherwise I'd have no hair, scalp myself. What kept me going? That's a good question. I guess the fact that I just truly loved it. Do you know what I mean? And every here and there I took some time off, and after, not many huge periods of time, but after a while you always had that thing in your gut and your stomach. You're like, oh, why am I not going? It wasn't like I'm making myself go. It's more time, why have you stopped doing this? So, I just think it was like a gut feeling that this is something that I wanted to do, that I missed it. And it was hard. I remember especially when I was struggling with flip bumps so much. Actually, going back to the first question, I should mention Al Snow as well. And everybody that trained me. But honestly, the reason I got over my flip bump hurdle, whatever, was because of Al Snow. My first session with him, I mean, there's a reason he's cited as one of the best trainers in the world. He's got methods, and he's just, I mean, literally minutes I was over it. But yeah, when I first did that, I remember going home, and obviously my neck was all screwed up as well, as it would be if you just plough your head into the floor. And I was a bit emotional, because that's what happens when your body gets hurt. It kind of pumps you full of adrenaline and hormones. And I did think, maybe I don't want to do this. But after, a few nights of taking stock and sleeping, I don't know what I do. So I think it's just that. I think it's just a deep-rooted determination to try and see this through. And to know that you went through all that, and now you're having matches, it almost transforms itself into this rewarding, satisfying thing. You're like, oh, there you go. Hard work, perseverance, all that nonsense that sounds ridiculous, but they can pay off. Like, it really can. So, yeah. The light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Yeah. Now, we talked before about you getting busted open, your head being turned into a coin slot, basically. And Sam, possibly off the back of that, has asked, would you ever consider doing a hardcore match? And almost how hardcore would you be willing to take it?
I don't say no to anything, right? That's not for wrestling, that's for my life in general. I think if opportunities come up, you should do it. However, I don't know. I do like a quote-unquote, this is the worst term ever, but it makes sense to us. I do a WWE hardcore match,
yes.
Right? That would probably...
Not light tubes, basically.
That's kind of... And maybe not thumbtacks. I don't know. I just haven't got it in me. I'm a wuss. I'm a coward. But then again, maybe if it came up and I thought it made sense, I would. I don't know. I mean, sitting right here, my answer would be, a more commercial, accessible hardcore match is probably something I would do. I mean, some of the things the guys do they're incredible. Like, it's still a skill to be able to do all that, I think. I know sometimes people go too far, but I'm not going to talk about it today, obviously. But yeah, I know that's something I have to take on the nose at the time, I think. Mm-hmm. It terrifies me, I'll tell you that.
Isaac Mays says, what is your main goal for the future?
Oof. You know what? I'm going to John Cena you, which makes me a bad person, but whatever comes next is the thing that I'm going to focus on. And that's only because I always hope I get this far. I'm not that I'm anywhere, but still, in my own sort of bubble world, I've progressed a little bit. But yeah, I want to take things just day by day. I don't get ahead of myself because I'm doing this in a very weird way, right? Let's not pretend otherwise. I've been here, now I'm coming across here. Plus, I'm not spring chicken. There's all these certain things you have to look for. If I can just keep getting booked, keep getting matches, keep getting better and see where that goes, that's my goal right now. That's it.
That's what I certainly picked up from you when we've spoke before, obviously, because some people, we get carried away. We say, when are you going to go to New Japan? When are you going to go to WWE? For you, whenever I spoke to you about this, from the very beginnings to now, it was always just about getting that first match. You were doing this just to test yourself, and even if you just got one match and you just did that would have been great for you.
Yeah.
We all saw how you reacted when you first walked out, when the music hit, when the crowd, you could tell on your face how much you enjoyed it. So I get that. You're just taking it as it comes.
Exactly. And would I say no to opportunities like New Japan as it came up? Of course I wouldn't. I mean, am I the right? Who knows, right? But you don't say no to those things. But I'm not under any illusions of grandeur either, that someone's just going to ring me up and go, hey, so come down here. So yeah, at the moment it's just, I'm just enjoying it. That's the truth. I'm enjoying it. And when you're enjoying something, sometimes you don't have to overthink it. You can just go with it.
Rob Curvell says, how hard is it to ignore the crowd if they are heckling to you? And can you even hear them mid-match? I've always wondered that.
Yes and no is a weird thing. Like, I remember one time somebody shouted out something like, you're a Dick Miller or something. And I did hear it.
That.
And yes, I thought it was you. But honestly, because of the way I am, I know it's about your work, I almost laughed because that kind of amuses me, that stuff, because I'm an idiot. But otherwise, no, a lot of the time you can't. It's strange. I remember we did one match, I can't remember what it was, and I thought the crowd had been... Dead's not the wrong word, but I felt they'd been dead for my match. I thought, maybe I did something wrong, or this or that. And then I watched it back and said, nope. They were just as rowdy as they were for all the other matches. So, no, it's weird. I think... From where I am at the moment, I get in my head a lot, and I'm always thinking about, right, what's next, what's coming, what am I going to do? And yet you kind of do. Sometimes you hear the crowd, sometimes you don't. But you never, I think the thing is, you can never, well, I especially can't, you can't take it in. It's almost too much for your brain to fathom. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I out here? Why are people making noise? And I think it all just becomes a blur, and then 2 days later, all of a sudden it catches up with you, you get this adrenaline rush. Like, what's this? And I guess that's where the appeal comes from, right? And the addiction to it all.
I suppose that kind of relates to the whole Ziggler-Rollins thing the other day at Extreme Rules when the crowd are chanting and counting down and whatever. There's been clips that's been released on like Twitter where you can tell that they are discussing it mid-chin lock or something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your main focus has got to be, what am I doing next?
What's the plan?
And hopefully that will change the tide of the crowd.
Exactly, and I think that's the other thing as well. The sort of the best of the best wrestlers can hear the crowd, and they can manipulate them and react to them, and palm of their hand, all that stuff. And I guess that's the holy grail of pro wrestling. I'm not there. In case you're interested, I'm not there yet.
Ben Harlan says, how hard is it to improvise mid-match when you only have the ending and key moments? Because some people obviously do move for move the match from start to beginning. Some people just like to talk about the key moments and the ending. How hard is it for you, maybe, if you have planned it beat for beat and it goes slightly wrong, or if you've not got it completely sorted?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some stuff I've done where you just can't remember everything, because when you're out there, your brain's going 1,000 miles an hour. And it is hard, yeah. But again, I think it all comes down to experience. I've been in there with some guys that are just so good, you can tell they've done stuff out, they're not worried. They've got outcomes for every scenario, so they can keep it calm. I'm like, oh no. And it is hard. It's probably the most intimidating thing, I think, because on my end especially, I don't want to pull down the fourth wall too much, because 2018, I don't, I get it.
The boys will be coming through the door.
I still get it to a certain degree, but come on now. I don't mean like that, you know what I mean. I don't want to... I'm going to make mistakes. Let's not be, let's be honest about this. But I'm still very much in the case of I don't want to... This is a terrible way to put it. I don't mean like this, but I don't want to drag anybody else down because of my greenness. Do you know what I mean? I want to make sure I can hold my own weight, because I know that I can, but executing it is a different thing. So I think that's why it's hard for me at the moment. It's because I want to... Well, I put a lot of expectation on myself, a lot of pressure on myself. I always have with everything, and that's how I like to operate. So I think I never want to go back and go, oh, I screwed that up, even though if I did... And I have done, a few things that probably could fall under that category. You learn from it, right? And that's the most positive thing you can take from all of those moments. But yeah, that's why I think that's the hardness comes in for me. I want to hold my own. I want to prove to people I can do this, because I know I can. Obviously, there's 1,000 different scenarios that can happen that can throw you off your game.
Matt Ewell, we've seen obviously your ups and downs finisher, but he says, will you be adding a signature submission move to your arsenal? Submission?
I think you just said signatures. Submissions. I do have one actually in my back pocket, which I did a couple of times at training, and people thought it was quite cool. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe, yeah. Maybe if the situation calls for it, yes. I do have one. It's not nothing too over the top or amazing, but I did something. Quite a common move, but the way I did it, they went, never seen it like that. So maybe, yeah. I don't know I'm a submission guy, but maybe.
Okay.
Hashtag maybe.
You're obviously a big guy, but we have seen in WWE the bigger guys doing this sort of thing. Kevin says, can you become a high flyer / powerhouse hybrid? I don't know whether he thinks like what Drew McIntyre did on Raw recently, or what. Did you try coming off the top rope when you were training? Or
I've done some top rope stuff. I don't think you'll ever see me come off the top rope yet. Not comfortable up there. Terrifying. But there are some other stuff that I have done that maybe people wouldn't expect that I could do, but maybe they couldn't in today's world. Do you know what it's like? It's crazy. But maybe not. Maybe not. So yes, a few things. I mean, there's one thing I do want to work in at some point. So we'll leave that out there for now. Potentially yes. There we go. Potentially yes.
Before we get to the speed round, I'm going to give you one final one. Ash Prosser says, who would your ideal opponent be in what stipulation, in what arena?
Anyone ever?
Anyone ever, I think.
Right now on the planet, 2018. Well, in that case, let's not even pretend. I got two actually. I mean, one, if you want to do that and you want to be successful, if you're in the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns and you beat him for the Universal Championship, people are probably going to like you. Anyone can do it now. Anyone, even me. And you probably get some kind of reaction. But so a bit more fun and something I think actually would be more amazing to me, given my love of wrestling and all of this. If I was in the Royal Rumble. I mean this as well, because this is maybe my more realistic answer. Even for 8 seconds, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I would be like, I'm in for 8 seconds, but I was in for 8 seconds. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be, I would talk about it. No, I wouldn't have any more friends, because I'd talk about it so much, they'd be like, don't call him.
That time.
He just wants to talk about his 8 seconds in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be, just, from my childhood self to now, I don't think I'd ever get over that. I think I'd be happy for the rest of my life.
Off the back of that question, any stipulation matches you are desperate to do?
I want to do a cage match. Just I think it'd be hilarious. To be training in a ring for 2 years, and also you look around and go, there's a giant cage. So I'd like to do a cage match. Ladder match, I don't think I would like to do, but I'm not good at climbing ladders.
I think you don't have to be in ladder matches.
Well, it's true, just take your time, right? But yeah, ladder match, cage match, I think stuff like that would be fun.
Okay, let's do a quick speed round, just quick answers to these. Arthur says, would you rather be on SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Dan says, who would you want to face at SummerSlam this year?
Brock Lesnar.
Of course. Hunter Davis says, if you could pick anyone in WhatCulture to be your tag partner, who would it be?
Adam.
What a team.
Adam W.
DB says, would you ever wrestle as a heel?
Oh my God. Look, no one gets into pro wrestling without thinking about what their heel character would be. It will happen. It always turns. And I'm ready for that, yeah.
And Mason Cooper says, because you can't do a hair versus hair match,
Right,
what
thanks.
would you sacrifice instead?
My penis. I would track that. I would track
That's
that
it.
straight. That's non-PG. In a PG environment, I don't know, what can you even sacrifice? I mean, you can't chop an ear off, can you? So it'd have to be, I don't know. I don't answer that question. There's nothing that obvious you can just take off someone. I mean, we could shave my body hair, but I don't really, my body hair is minimum to say the least.
Or waxing.
I mean, that'd be the crappiest match ever, wouldn't it?
And Adam clearly wants to know, who do you think is going to win Love Island this year?
Jenny.
Jack and Danny.
Jack
good
and
choice.
Danny. I wasn't prompted with that answer. Jenny is not a combination of Jack and Danny. It is.
Finally, you are all in, of course. You're going to
I know.
Starcast for
Mental,
WhatCulture. So exciting. What are you most looking forward to for that?
I can't talk in specifics because I promised I wouldn't. But I know some of the things we've got organised. Obviously, I cannot wait to see the event itself. That will be... I mean, if you watch any of my WhatCulture stuff, I'm completely on board with this idea that it could become the indie WrestleMania, depending on what happens with contracts and whatnot. Otherwise, though, there is two things that I know are going on with very well-respected people in the wrestling community that it looks like we're going to get to do. And I think it's going to be one of those videos that will stand the test of time. So, we're getting loads of interviews too. Some of the people I'm getting to interview is like, dream stuff for a wrestling fan. All of it, to be honest. I would give you more specifics, but I don't want to ruin it. We had this chat. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be, too over the top or to throw too much hyperbole in there. But yeah, there is some good stuff. Stuff that is just crazy, blows my brain.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely amazing event. Obviously, we're going to be doing lots of stuff here on WhatCulture about it, and you can watch it on Fight TV if you can't get to Chicago either. Finally, I asked this last time, but everyone has been asking me again. What advice would you give people who want to follow in your footsteps?
Well, first of all, if you want to follow in my footsteps, it's the most inspirational thing ever, so thank you. It's very nice. It's always the same advice, and it sucks to a certain degree because people want specific points, but everybody's different, and that is... There's two bits. Is that one, don't give up if you really, really want this deep down. There's nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with going through hard times, big boss man. But there is nothing wrong with going through hard times to achieve something. Sometimes you have to do that, right? I know I certainly did. But also, if you do it, and something inside of you says, I don't want to do this, that ain't that's not quitting or giving up. That's just, you tried it, it wasn't for you, and then you can't regret it. I say this every time, but it's honestly, if someone said this to me, it would give me so much more confidence. That's what I like to say. And yeah, if you decide it's not for you, that's okay. You tried it. You can only regret the things you don't do. And you tried it, it wasn't for you, and then you can go make YouTube video about it, or you can just be a fan, or you can make merchandise. I don't know, you still be involved in it, but it just doesn't mean you want to be a professional wrestler. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make you a loser or anything like that. You tried something, and you have the strength of character to say, no, that's not for me. I'm going to go do something else. And so I think the most important thing is just to go out there, do it, and then be honest with yourself, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Everyone's got a different path. So there's no point in me saying, well, do 25 minutes of cardio a day. Do more than 25 minutes of cardio. Trust me, I can't believe how much cardio you need for pro wrestling. But yeah, I think if someone had said that to me, especially when I was a lot younger, just with things in general, I would have, it would have helped a lot. So that's always my advice for everybody out there.
Well, Simon, great chatting to you. So good to see you doing so well, obviously.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll do some more wrestling updates in the future.
Absolutely. And
Really nice.
you know what it's all about, don't you? You want to know why it's all going like this?
Why?
Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why.
I didn't fall asleep again, Joel. I've been going for ages.
Oh, sorry, man. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Check out some more of our videos here, and we will see you soon.